Hey guys, it is the Ramos Online. It's just gone 3 AM. I am half asleep, I'm tired, I want to sleep, but I also want to tell a story. The story is why Gardevoir is my favourite Pokemon of all time. So, I can't remember what bloody year it is, but it must have been about 9 to 10 years ago, so probably 2003, 2004. I was between 11 and 12 years old. I'd just gone into secondary school and I had a copy of Pokemon Ruby. And as you probably are aware, there's a Wimpy McWimp, which I believe some people called Wally. Looks like we found him. And your father, Norman, gives him a Zigzagoon, and then he goes out and catches himself a male Ralts. The poor unlucky bastard. His Ralts is so hard-coded to be male that even in Moemon, where all Pokemon are female, he still catches a male one. Poor guy. Anyway, what was I saying? Ah, yes. I would hunt around in that grass for hours, and I would never find a Ralts. I had no idea why, but it was because Ralts had one of the lowest appearance rates, or whatever the rates they're called, in the game in that area. So yeah. I mean, it felt like hours, but when you have Asperger's syndrome and ADHD, 5 minutes probably does feel like an hour. So, I don't find Ralts in Ruby. I just play the game normally and then I beat the crap out of Wally's male Ralts. Ralts, Gardevoir, whatever it is, at whatever stage. Anyway. Several years pass, I get into Game Boy emulation and things like SNES, NES, emulation, etc. And I think, when I never beat Pokemon Ruby, why don't I get a ROM for Pokemon Emerald? So I do. And that ROM, I think it was a US ROM, or it was an English ROM. I'm not sure why I'm saying that, that's how rambling I am. Anyway. So, I get a working ROM, and lo and behold, the first Pokemon I find in that patch of grass where you can find Ralts is a Ralts. It's a female synchronized Ralts, can't remember what nature it was, and I catch it. First Pokeball, really lucky. And I sit down and I look at its moves, and it has Growl, and that's it, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so when Wally gave Norman the Zigzagoon back, he had a Ralts that only knew Growl. How did he train it? Did he just have a bunch of rare candies? I don't know. Did he pick it up and smash it into other Pokemon? I don't know. Anyway, so I grind by using the old method where you send a Pokemon out, and then you switch into a different Pokemon, and it still gets experience until it's level 6 and it gets confusion. Then I do the crazy thing. I release my starter. I don't think you can release your starter. You have to like box it until you get like 2 or 3 Pokemon, and then you can release it. But I basically do that. I box it, catch a few Pokemon, release my starter, and I go through the game with my Ralts, which becomes a Kirlia, then a Gardevoir, and I think I beat the game. I don't quite remember. We are talking about 6-7 years ago, and then. Since then, I have never used a starter, and wherever available, I have used Ralts as a starter. In Generation 4, I used a cheating device to get a Ralts as my starter. In Generation 5, I used a Dream Radar to get Ralts and Riolu as my starters. Generation 6, I used... I didn't use anything. I beat the first gym, then I was able to catch a Ralts because the first gym leader's sister blocks the path for some crazy reason. It's like, I can see the Ralts dancing around in the grass, let me through there, you bitch. But she doesn't let you through there, you got to beat the gym first, so I had to get the first badge without Ralts. I am so disappointed in myself. So then I released my Fennekin and I continue the game, and that is, I suppose, why Gardevoir means so much to me. To me, it is the starter I remember the most. There's photos of me, like a 6-year-old me, I think 6-year-old me, I can't remember how old I was, playing Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Silver, and I can't for the life of me remember what starters I chose. I want to say I chose Squirtle in Blue, and Cyndaquil in Silver, but I seriously can't remember. Ralts is the first real starter I ever remember actively getting. And I know it's not a side of Pokemon, but there you are. That is why it means so much to me. It's made such an impact on my, not my life, but my Pokemon life, I guess. In Generation 6, even more love, because it got a Mega Evolution. And you get a lot of people who complain, saying, oh, well, now it looks like it's got a fat ass. No, that's a ballroom dress. Yeah, well, it looks too much like a wedding dress, so it means it's sexualized. No, it's a ballroom dress. If you paid attention in history or literacy, you'd realise that it's a Victorian-era ballroom dress. Simples! Yeah, that was my horrible compare the meerkat impression. I just staged for that. I wonder who's even listening still. Anyway, so yeah, why am I making a video when I'm telling the story of that? Well, that's because I've got some pent-up aggression towards power saves. I'm holding it in my hand, trying to crush it, but I'm not strong enough because I'm just a fat ass weakling. I bought that thing literally a day before the codes for the Latistones, Diancie, and Azzy's Floette were taken down, and the whole point of me getting that and shelling out £17 on that was to not review the Pokemon, because everyone's been reviewing them and going over their stats and whatnot. I wanted to do a proper strategy guide, a proper, tactic you could use all those Pokemon for. Be the first one of the first people to get that out there. So, I will admit, so I could fish in the views. That's kind of what I'm lacking at the moment. I want feedback, I want views, and I felt that would be the easiest way of doing it. And I thought, well, £17 is a cheap way of doing it. Nope! Because the codes aren't on there anymore. It came, it was 2-day delivery, I buy it, the next day the codes are taken down, the next day it arrives, and it's a useless piece of plastic that haunts my dreams. Every dream, it comes in, and it snakes around me, and it's like, hey, I know you want a shiny Greninja. I can do that for you. I know you want more money and more battle points. Well, I can do that for you as well. No power saves. No. Go home. Just go home. I don't want those things. I do. So it's kind of annoyed me, but I mean, I still have footage for my Nidoqueen, my Perugly, what else? My Espeon. So I can still do some guides for those. I'm looking to do a Let's Play Nuzlocke of Moemon Fire Red. In the background has been Moemon Emerald, and I'm looking to do Moemon Fire Red as a Let's Play Nuzlocke. The reason I didn't do Emerald was because I literally just got it so I could get some footage of me catching a Ralts. That's pretty much the only reason I did that, and I wanted to do it classy. So I decided to go the one that has the little girls and you stuff them in balls, because what could be classier? Why Moemon, by the way? I like Moemon because it's cute. Like, I'm not afraid of admitting that I have the heart of a woman. If it's cute, then I want it. I want it, give it to me now. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I can ramble about? I don't think there is. Subscribe, like, favourite. If you are still listening to this, props to you. Good lord, I'm almost at the 9-minute mark, coming up to 10 minutes, and you're still listening. Is it the voice? It's probably the voice, isn't it? Well, thanks for listening, and stay tuned for whatever comes next.